possess firearms or ammunition, and your immigration status could be affected. You have important constitutional rights, including the right to representation by an attorney, but you may lose those rights or waive them if you do not act to protect those rights. You have the right to hire an attorney to represent you in every case. If you cannot afford an attorney, you may be eligible for a free attorney. If you want a determination made as to whether you are qualified for a free lawyer, then it is your obligation to be screened at the location identified in paragraph 5C of the bond checklist form that I'm going to give you today. If you do not hire an attorney or go to be screened, then you may be found to have waived your right to an attorney at your trial. You also have the right to represent yourself. However, you should be aware.
On an otherwise ordinary day in Greenville, a family dispute escalated into something irreversible. Inside a home meant to represent safety and unity, gunfire erupted. When the chaos ended, one man was dead, a 37-year-old uncle. Another man, a father, was left seriously injured. And at the center of it all stood a 19-year-old young man, Isaiah Kendall Rapley. This is not just a story about violence. It is a story about family, conflict, and how quickly emotions can spiral beyond control. Early life and background. Very little publicly documented information exists about Isaiah Rapley's early upbringing, education, or personal achievements, a common reality in cases involving young suspects whose lives suddenly become defined by a single tragic event. At 19 years old, Isaiah was at a critical stage in life, a transition between adolescence and adulthood. This phase is often marked by emotional volatility, identity development, increased independence, exposure to stress and responsibility. Experts often note that individuals at this age may struggle with impulse control and conflict management, especially in high-pressure family environments. While there is no public record of his employment or academic standing, the situation suggests he was still closely connected to his immediate family. The victims in this case were not strangers. They were family. Terrence Rapley, Isaiah's uncle, 37 years old, who would lose his life. Isaiah's father, who survived but was seriously injured. This indicates that the incident occurred within a close family setting, making it even more tragic. Family relationships are often deeply emotional and complex. When conflict arises, it can carry years of unresolved disagreements, generational tension, emotional triggers. Though details about the exact nature of their relationships remain limited, authorities confirmed that the shooting occurred during a family dispute. On March 7, 2026, deputies were called to a residence following reports of a shooting. When law enforcement arrived, they encountered a devastating scene. Two individuals suffering from gunshot wounds, one critically injured, one beyond saving. Terrence Rapley was transported for medical care but later died from his injuries. Isaiah's father, though wounded, survived and was rushed to the hospital in serious condition. Authorities quickly identified the shooter as Isaiah Kendall Rapley. What led up to the shooting? While investigators have not released a full motive, several critical facts help reconstruct what may have happened. 1. A family dispute. Officials confirmed that the shooting stemmed from a family argument. Family disputes can escalate quickly, especially when emotions are already high. Past grievances resurface, communication breaks down. 2. Close proximity. Unlike crimes involving strangers, this incident occurred in a shared or familiar environment. This suggests there was no forced entry. The interaction began as a normal family encounter. 3. Escalation to violence. At some point during the dispute, the situation escalated to gunfire. Moments like these often happen rapidly, within seconds. What may have started as a verbal disagreement turned into irreversible violence. Arrest and charges. Authorities took Isaiah Rapley into custody shortly after the incident. He now faces serious charges, including murder, attempted murder, possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. A judge denied him bond, meaning he remains in custody awaiting further legal proceedings. Additionally, the court ordered that he have no contact with surviving family members, highlighting the seriousness of the case. 3. Be mindful of emotional triggers. Certain topics, money, respect, past issues, can trigger intense reactions. Lesson: recognize triggers and manage them carefully. 4. Firearm responsibility. Safe storage and responsible access are critical. Lesson: limiting access during emotional situations can save lives. 5. Recognize warning signs. Look for aggressive behavior, escalating arguments, threats, or intimidation. Lesson: intervene early before situations become uncontrollable. 6. Support young adults. Young people often lack experience handling intense emotions. Lesson: provide guidance, mentorship, and emotional support. Final reflection: a moment that changed everything. The story of Isaiah Kendall Rapley is not just about a crime. It is about a moment. A moment where anger overtook reason. A moment where words turned into violence. A moment that changed multiple lives forever. One man lost his life. Another was left injured, and a 19-year-old now faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars. Sometimes tragedy doesn't come from strangers in the dark, it comes from moments we fail to control. And once that moment passes, there is no going back. If you care about accountability, subscribe to True Crime Echoes channel. In case you are new here or wherever you are watching from, make sure you subscribe. This is really heartbreaking. Was Isaiah Kendall Rapley manipulated by demons or what? Life lost can't be brought back. If the case makes you think twice, click on the subscribe button. Share this story for a moment. Thanks for watching. Turn on the notifications. Stay safe and stay vigilant.